E. This is Reptile from MTG Basics, and we'll be looking over a high-power build for Anowon the Ruin Thief in EDH. For reference, Anowon the Ruin Thief is a 2/4 vampire rogue for 2 generic and Dimir mana, which reads, other rogues you control get +1/+1, and whenever one or more rogues you control deal combat damage to a player, that player mills 1 card for each damage dealt to them. If the player mills at least 1 creature card this way, you draw a card. This is my personal brew of Anowon that I've been upgrading periodically over time, and the Moxfield deck list will be linked down below if you're interested. Before we cover the specific cards in the deck, let's first talk about Anowon and what he provides as a commander. Rogues in Magic are a strong and disruptive tribe, and Anowon allows us to turn those threats into card advantage while progressing our game plan. While less impactful, the Anthem effect Anowon provides allows us to pressure life totals more effectively and mill more through combat. Now that we know what Anowon provides as a commander, let's dive deep into the specifics of the deck. We'll first be talking about the main theme of the deck, rogues. In order to synergize effectively with our commander, we need cheap, evasive rogues to repeatedly damage our opponents and draw cards through Anowon's triggered ability. Non-evasive rogues must have abilities that generate resources or deny resources to our opponents to be included in the deck. Playing multiple of these rogues on the battlefield early will give us a higher chance of drawing cards once we cast Anowon. One important factor to consider when going to combat is the composition of your opponent's deck. Often, you will want to attack the player with the highest density of creatures, as this will give you the highest chance of activating Anowon's triggered ability. This becomes much more difficult when you do not know your opponent's deck and benefits off of your knowledge of the decks being played at the table. Just as importantly, milling opponents whose game plan revolves around their graveyard can be detrimental to you and everyone else at the table. To subside this weakness, Graveyard Hate in the form of Dothy Voidwalker and Grafsdigger's Cage are included and provide additional disruption outside of graveyard strategy. Being a Dimir deck, we have access to great interaction both on the battlefield and on the stack. The high number of tutors allow us to search for answers to critical threats reliably, and spells like Culling the Weak and Diabolic Intent allow us to squeeze maximum value out of our cheap 1/1 rogues. One defining feature of Anowon is his ability to utilize the rogue tribal sorceries Notorious Throng and Knowledge Exploitation better than nearly any other deck. Casting these spells for their alternate mana cost provides a great rate for their powerful, game-winning effects. A common obstacle you will encounter is Anowon being removed and being left with weak, evasive rogues. It is unrealistic to believe Anowon will be available throughout the whole game, and cards such as Curiosity and Bloodchief's Ascension allow us to still gain value and pressure the board independent of Anowon. Cards such as Necroponents allow us to assemble for our win, or dig up a key piece of interaction while being able to break parity through Anowon's draw trigger. Being in Dimir colors, we don't have access to an abundance of ramp and rely on fast mana producing artifacts to keep up with decks that would otherwise outpace us. Anowon is a 4 mana commander, and the earlier we are able to cast him and generate the card advantage, the better. Outside of fast mana, rogues like Grim Hireling align with our overall game plan and provide us with the mana needed to interact with our opponents. While not as consistent, Black Ritual spells provide large bursts of mana when needed. Now that we've gone over the main engine of the deck, how do we win? In long, drawn-out games, winning through combat is an option, but is not the most efficient or ideal means of doing so. Being in Dimir gives us access to the Demonic Consultation and Thassa's Oracle combo, and we will often be using this to close out the game when we have the chance. If this combo is interrupted, we are easily able to pivot back to our mid-range game plan of attacking and milling our opponents. This increases the effectiveness of cards like Reanimate and Mnemonic Betrayal, and allows us to utilize our own opponent's decks to assemble a win. Thanks for watching, and if you have any of your own suggestions for Anowon, let us know in the comments down below. Stay basic, and we'll see you in the next Deck Tech.